Hey, that game was real physical. They were not just fouling, but like aggressive with doing so. And you guys, I think for the most part, kept your cool. Do you feel like they were coming at you guys particularly hard tonight?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they were definitely a really aggressive team. But I think the biggest thing was that they were very unpredictable. I didn't, you're kind of out there and like, you think you kind of know what's about to happen, and then someone just barrels it to the rim, or, they just like pass cut swing, and then it's like over. Yeah. I mean, it was just it was a little bit chaotic, and at times we kind of fed into that, and that's when they would go on like their runs or whatever. But obviously, we just kind of like stuck to our plan, and just when things would open up, we kind of took them. But I felt it a little bit, but I tried to be physical, but obviously the refs weren't really liking that. Yeah, I definitely earned some of them, but there were some times I was like, man, like I just want to play, like, but yeah, the way it goes.
I know you got family. They were here for the other game. You still have some family here?
No, direct family. Just my girls here.
Okay. And you for Sunday's game, you had some family here for the weekend, mm-hmm. Right? How much is this holiday time? You guys won by 30. Like, I know it didn't look like a distraction, but like, is it hard to kind of keep the focus right now when you guys are, especially with the winning streak and?
I mean, Coach definitely was. He reiterated that a lot through the week. He's like, listen, guys. Well, not through the week. Obviously, we're focused on Iona, but after Iona, and then the next day, like basically all through film, walk through whatever earlier today. He's like, obviously, I know we're about to go on like a little break. Guys are gonna get to go home for, some guys like the first time in, 4 months or whatever it was. But just got to stay focused. But for me, obviously, it's like my fourth year, and so it's a little bit easier to just kind of like be like, another game. And luckily, we have an older squad, and so I didn't really get the feeling that guys weren't taking it any more or less like serious than other games. But that it definitely is a factor. Obviously, some teams have fallen victim to that in the past like couple days. But I think we did a decent job. There were times we did play the score today, but I feel like overall no one was like, oh, like, screw this game or anything.
There's only 3 undefeated teams left in the country now. Does it surprise you that this team is 12-0 at this point?
When like the season kind of came like starting, or once like the season got started, I actually went through and I looked at like the schedule and I was like, okay, should bag that one. Should be favored in that one. Obviously, St. Mary's, I was like, I know we're gonna be the underdogs in that one. Iona, like I wasn't really sure just because I didn't know their team that well. But overall, I definitely felt like we were gonna be in a very good position going into conference. Now, I was a little bit surprised, and I'm kind of proud of like the way this team was able to pull out some of the dog fights that we had for those quality wins like St. Mary's and San Francisco. And Iona. Really all 3 of like our best wins. We didn't win them in a pretty way, and so I was a little bit concerned about that just because I knew how offensive focused this team was last year, but. I definitely haven't gone into any game thinking like, oh man, I don't know about this one. Like I definitely know, like, going into it, like I'm gonna take mine over them every time.
What did you when you went to the schedule? What did you think you would be, like 9-3, 10-2?
Well, see that's the funny thing, is it, maybe it's just like some like blind confidence or whatever it may be, but like every time I step on the court, like I'm like, if I'm able to play, like my team has a chance to win. Like I've really never gone into any game like despite the odds and been like, oh man, like yeah, like let me just try to get some good numbers or let's try to keep it close. Like every single game we've gone into, I'm like, okay, this one's gonna be tougher than the previous or maybe the ones after it, but there wasn't a single game where I'm like, yeah, this one ain't looking good. Now there has been times during the game where I'm like, oh man, we gotta pick this up or it's not gonna be pretty, but. Every single game we've played, I've been like, I definitely have felt like we've either been equals, like with St. Mary's or better, and I feel like that kind of carries over into conference. Like, I go through the conference schedule, and I'm like, obviously, San Diego State's the one with, like, the big target on their back. Obviously, they've lost a few games, we're undefeated, like, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, like, that's kind of the standard of the league to see where you're at. Now, I'm definitely not passing over Colorado State or any of those other, top teams in the conference. I definitely look at everybody as another opportunity to kind of prove ourselves and improve ourselves. But, even against San Diego State, like, they got an older senior squad, but I'm really like, yeah, if we play the way we can and the way we have shown that we have at times, I really don't think that there's anybody that can beat us. Now, is every game going to be by 30? Absolutely not. But, we've shown that we can dog them out, and so it definitely helps improve make me feel a little bit better. And the one fun thing I have done is, like on the ESPN app, like when you click on a game, it shows you like the 60, 40%, like all that. Before the season, I like went through and I like recorded all of them and like seeing like what they were. And then this past week, then like right before I play the game, I go back and look and then see like, has it changed a little bit? Has it gotten worse? Like other teams, stuff like that. But that's kind of been the one thing where I have like, I'm like, okay. And it definitely feels good. Like, because I think when we were going into St. Mary's, we were like, I think like 80 to ESPN had us at like a 20% chance to win, and I was like, I like that. It just kind of I've always liked being the underdog. That's basically how I was like every game at my last school, and that's kind of something that, despite even if we are obviously probably like picked as favorites for more of our games, I definitely go into it thinking like no one like you almost kind of got to put it on yourself, and that's just kind of how I live and how I play. So. I've always enjoyed being the underdog, and so I like when, the sports books have us down or ESPN has us down, because I'm like, oh, bet. The guys who think they know more than us think that we're going to lose. I like that.
It's a second straight game that Sebastian has had an impact. Mm-hmm. How is it seeing him starting to get his footing after the injuries and other stuff you struggled with early?
Sebastian, it's a funny thing because, like, during practice, he'll just have times when, he'll do something, like dunk on somebody, get a block, make some, like, great pass or whatever it is, and it's like, obviously, he hasn't been playing, like, a ton of minutes, so you can't be like, oh, dude, do that, but it's like, we've kind of known that Sebastian can make an impact. We've just kind of been, he's just such a kind person at heart, and we're like, dude, like when you do, like when Mo, cause, Mo got a little mouth on him. He gonna say a little something, him and Mo get a little chippy in practice, and there's times when Sebastian gets when he gets aggressive like that, and it's like, you can really like make a significant impact on the court, and so it's kind of just been like hoping that he's gonna bring it out, and he has a couple times now, and so hopefully he'll, see what happens when he is, playing like the monster he can be, and it's kind of exciting to see what he might be able to do during conference now.
Josiah, when there was a lot of, with the officiating back to tonight's game, a lot of whistles blown, I think, for both teams. Did you find that hard to catch rhythm, kind of with your foul trouble, or just as a team to find your rhythm? Well,
I checked at half. I had 3 fouls in 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So it was kind of just, it was nice I got that little dunk before the half end, and I got my third one. But it definitely does cause some issues with, because when you sit out or like when you get in foul trouble and then you go back in, while you're still kind of warm, you're kind of like getting like revamped into the game, and so some shots or plays, which usually would just be second nature, kind of, you got to be like, okay, like, you got to try to find your groove a little bit, and so it does mess it up. But the ultimate thing is just trying to make sure everyone stays on like an even keel and doesn't get too upset about the foul trouble, and just is kind of staying patient and being a good teammate until they're able to get back in. Because obviously, when you feel like you're on a roll, or if you're like, okay, I went in like at the end of the second half, I was like, okay, now I can kind of get a little something going before the second half. They made another 45 seconds, and so I was like, all right, well, second half it is. And luckily, came out, was able to help the team make a little impact, and so got a little 4 assists, okay. But yeah, it definitely does interrupt your rhythm a little bit.
Anything else for Josiah?
I'll ask a fun one. Who's on the naughty list on the team?
I can't answer that, man. Honestly, probably I am because I got that tech last game. So I probably have to put myself on there.